If you've reached the end of Umbral Sands and want to unlock the fire cave, this guide should save you a lot of frustration. I've now completed all 30 waves of the fight caves, beaten Fuzan, unlocked the fire cave, tested multiple builds, and even found a safe spot that makes almost every wave dramatically easier. I'll show you how to unlock it, the setup I recommend, every important mechanic, how to beat the toughest waves, and finally the safe spot if you are struggling. Let's get started. So before you can even attempt the fire cave, you'll need to complete Iclarin's little helper and finish the story version of Fuzan's lair. Once you've done that, return to the arena and interact with the pedestal in the center, and make sure that instead of selecting Fuzan's challenge, you choose the fight caves. This is going to unlock the full 30 wave challenge, and honestly, Fuzan isn't the hardest part. It's getting to him. So after quite a few attempts, this is the setup that I settled on. For weapons, I bought the obsidian staff for the damage. Pharaoh's scepter I bought so I could summon Buddy for some nice distraction. I bought the adamant greatsword for crowd control and the majority of the damage. And I also bought the crossbow for pulling enemies and also killing the rangers that's in the lava. Buddy is incredibly useful. It's not even about the damage that he does, honestly. He distracts the enemies, takes aggro, and stops you getting overwhelmed. And for armor, really any tier 7 set is going to work. I personally prefer the magic armor because the faster casting speed and the increased stamina regeneration, but again, it's going to be personal preference. Whatever you're comfortable with, any tier 7 armor is going to be fine. So in terms of food and supplies, of course, I'm a British guy, so tea is mandatory. This challenge takes about an hour and you can't sleep between waves, so your rest is going to constantly drain, and if that gets low, you're really going to limit your combat ability in terms of avoiding attacks and dealing damage, so make sure you stock up on teas. If you're using magic, honestly, I'd recommend to bring about 7 or 8 teas because magic does use a lot more stamina and rest than the others. But if you're planning to use melee for most of the fight, you could probably do it on 3, but I'd bring 4 to 5 just in case. And for food, the monkfish skewers are incredible for this. Not only do they heal a huge amount, but they also give the sea life buff, which increases your health regeneration. Pair that with the pumpkin spice infusion and you'll be constantly regenerating health throughout the run. And I also recommend bringing 4 anti-fire potions, 1 for wave 15, 1 for wave 30, and then bring 2 for Fuzan as well. So in terms of your spell wheel setup, 3 spells really carry this run. The first one is Snare. Before almost every round, I place one where the enemies were about to run. You can put this just around the lava pit in the middle. It's free poison damage and also slows that initial rush down. Gonna help you with that crowd control for sure. The next one is the best spell by far. It is Confuse. This spell is ridiculously good. So the idea here is turn one of the stronger enemies, the Tok-Xils or the Kets, onto your side and they'll start attacking everything else instead of you. It just gives you so much breathing room. But one huge tip is do not waste Confuse whenever it's available. You definitely need to save this for the tougher waves. I definitely recommend saving one for wave 25 because that has 3 Tok-Xils. And in my opinion, that's probably one of the most dangerous standard waves in the entire cave. And then finally, you definitely want to bring magical mending as well. The obsidian staff is absolutely horrible for durability. It is going to lose a lot, especially if you're going to be a main magic user during the fight caves. So being able to repair it between waves can literally save like an hour-long attempt. So just make sure you have magical mending to hand. Okay, there's only the 4 main enemy types and you would have seen these all before, so there's nothing new. You've got the Her, which are the weakest enemies. They're just like the minions, right? You've got the Kets, which are the heavy melee units. They can really catch you out with the ground shatter attack, especially if you're trying to run away. The Tok-Xils, they're probably the most dangerous regular enemy. They've got a ton of health and they can deal some nasty damage with range and melee as well. And then later in the run, you've got the Tok-Xils. These are the mini bosses. They hit incredibly hard. They launch those burning projectiles and appear during the milestone waves of 15 and wave 30. But the good news is for these guys, their biggest attack has like a massive animation. So you've got lots of time to do DPS, telegraph it, and get out the way. So general strategy, the biggest lesson I learned wasn't even about damage. It was about the crowd control. So whenever enemies are grouped together, you got to get the adamant greatsword out and use that spinning special attack. It absolutely melts the large packs. Whenever possible, make sure you've got Buddy out at all times from the Pharaoh's scepter. He's going to help out massively. Again, just to take aggro of a few mobs, give yourself a little bit of breathing room. And then of course, Confuse and Snare are going to be helping you out. It's about using all the tools that you have available. Everything is about reducing pressure rather than trying to brute force every wave. Take your time, don't rush, It's an endurance challenge. Now, here's the juicy stuff. If you are struggling, I've found something that makes almost every wave much easier. Near the entrance to Fuzan, there's a small ledge above the lava which you can reach using wind step. Once you get there, almost every melee enemy simply runs underneath and you can't attack. You can cast safely there, area damage spells onto everything below. But there is a couple of things to watch out for. The Tok-Xils can still attack, the cows can still hit you with the range attacks, the rangers can still hit you, and the lava in the middle can occasionally knock you off the ledge as well. But compared to fighting everything normally, this makes the challenge so much easier. I definitely recommend using mage from this spot though, because if you use range, all of the bolts and arrows are attacking enemies in the lava and you just can't recover your stuff, so it's just going to be a nightmare. And all the enemies are clumped below you, so you can just send those waves after waves of damage at them and be chilling. And then after surviving all 30 waves, it's time to fight Fuzan. If you've already completed the story version, then nothing here is going to surprise you. The mechanics are almost identical. Drink your anti-fire potions, play patiently, don't get greedy, and eventually he's gonna go down. And honestly, I think some of the fight caves waves are harder than Fuzan himself. And then once Fuzan dives, you're gonna unlock the fire cave. Stat wise, it's basically identical to the obsidian cave, so don't expect any huge stat increases here. This is one of the most iconic cosmetics in RuneScape history, and it's finally in Dragonwilds and it looks fantastic. I absolutely love it. Done this challenge a few times now. I'm hoping that we get some extended ones further and some more challenges down the road, maybe even an Inferno someday. So hopefully this guide helped you get your own fire cave. If you found any of the strategies or useful tricks, let everyone know in the comments below. And I've also got guides coming out on the Nightmare Crucible, more Umbral Sands bosses and everything else in Dragonwilds, and you don't want to miss those, so make sure you're subscribed. Good luck in the fight caves, and I'll see you in the next one.